Are we good, Lisa? Oh, okay. Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the March 2nd meeting of PRAC. Call the meeting to order. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest or nature thereof? Seeing none, we're going to have to take a look at the minutes, an adoption of the minutes of January the 26th. I'm hoping everyone, they were all circulated. I hope everyone had an opportunity to take a look at the minutes. Is there any additions or amendments to those minutes? And I don't see any, so I'm just looking for a mover and a seconder to adopt those minutes. Todd, and a seconder. And Colin, thank you. Opposed, and that's carried. Number 4.1, business arising. From those minutes, Arena live streaming, and Paul is going to give us a brief update on that.
Yeah, so we actually had Scott come to council as well to kind of present kind of his project, because they really wanted to get their head wrapped around what he was looking to do. I think, you know, it was received with a positive view. There are still some legal things that we're looking into. It really seems that across the board, there's a lot of inconsistencies. So what we've done is we've reached out to actually our municipal solicitor just to kind of see if they have some general advice, because there's way too many inconsistencies to just do what our neighbors are doing. So to make sure that we're on board, I think, you know, that's the most appropriate way. So that's going to be brought forward at the next council meeting. There's going to be a report with the in reference to the legalities. So hopefully we can get moving on that. And I know as we're coming out of the COVID restrictions, it's not as dire a thing, but I still think it'd be a good thing for the community, especially the aging population, and, you know, people that have to travel for games, you know, come to our arena from other centers. That might be nice for them that can't always come. So I still think it's a worthwhile avenue to look at. So that's where we are with that.
Okay. Thank you, Paul. Is there any questions for Paul on that? Because I do have a comment on it, but just want to make sure if everybody's okay. Council was in favor. We did send Paul back to get some information, like Paul said, about the legal advice. So I know when we went through, there was really no opposition really to it at all. We thought it was a great idea for, you know, and the deputy mayor actually used a really good example where he was away on the weekend, and one of the guys he was with took out his phone and could watch his daughter, who was a goalie, live stream the game. So and I mean, I guess the argument is like, why not? So anyway, so I just wanted to pass that on to the group. Okay, thanks, Paul. Anything else for Paul for that item? Don't want to miss anybody. Okay. Number 5, there are no delegations and communications. There are no reports this evening. We'll move to new business. 7.1, Paul, with a construction update, please.
Yeah, so as everyone's well aware, I'm sure, if you've been to the arena, construction's well underway. It's great to see things moving. There's obviously some things that aren't perfect, but we're trying to work with them because they want to keep on pace so that they can meet our December deadline. You know, it's a difference of letting them do stuff in the arena now, or, you know, holding them off, and then that pushes our deadline back to, say, like March or February next year, which we do not want. So, you know, it's not perfect now. We're doing our best as a team to accommodate our user groups to make it so they can use the facility. And you know, it's kind of one of those things that if you hear feedback in town, you know, send them my way. I'm happy to discuss it with them. But in reality, it's kind of one of those things. It is what it is. It's so we can keep it moving forward. So we have a great new arena to look forward to, and it doesn't carry much further on into the next season. So I'm very happy with the group that we have doing this. The site supervisor is fantastic. And that, you know, that's it. He's pushing to try and get as much as he can now, and that's a good sign that, you know, they're really going to push to get this job done. And I think it's going to be a great project. And if you go into the rink now and you see that big tarp up, that kind of gives you a good example of where that heated viewing area is going to be and how big it's going to be. So it kind of helps that way too. So it's good to see that.
Yeah. Right. Any questions for Paul? Todd? Yes, sir.
Just curious, in the submittal process, sorry, Paul, about the timing, and I'm hearing everything that you're saying, and so I asked this question with the best of intention. Is there a commitment that either the municipality has provided to the builder as far as the time that they're able to have full access, and then the other side of it is there a written commitment from the builder that they require full access by a certain point either?
There is not a written commitment. It's more so they're trying to work with us.
Okay.
Obviously, they know we have a business to run, because we could easily just shut everything down and say that's the end of it, and we got to get this project done. And they know that's not realistic in our community because we got to support our community. So I think it's really more of it's a working relationship. They make an ask of us and we make an ask of them, and we see how we can work well together to still operate and still provide a facility for people to use. I mean,
Great.
not all the temporary rooms will have showers or washrooms, but we're working our best to make it so they still have a space. And I think that's where it is at this moment.
Excellent. I'm thinking the kind of everybody's always warm and fuzzy and everybody's full of smiles and handshakes at the beginning, and then nearing the end when there's a time crunch, then that's when the gloves come off. So as long as we're not stepping over any lines or anything, that was really the kind of my focus of my question. So thank you.
For sure. And to just echo on that through you, Chair, if I may, and I think importantly, we do have our construction meetings. We've only had one so far. Our first actual on-site construction meeting is tomorrow. There's minutes taken at all those meetings. So if there's something discussed at those meetings that if we have to go back to, it is documented. So if we say, we can't do this, we can't do that, it is documented. So we do have something to go back to if we need to. But I really hope it doesn't come to that. I don't think it will, because I think we've had a great relationship so far. So I think all in all, it's going to be a good project.
Great. Thank you, Paul. Todd, any follow-up to that, sir?
No, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay. Sorry, any other questions for Paul on the construction update? We're good. Colin.
Just a brief comment, and I would say that so far I think that Paul, you and your team are doing an excellent job navigating through the construction, and I appreciate still being able to go to the arena and watch and everything else. I think it's going really, really well. I would say if there's anything we can do to sort of help with the traffic on the north side of the building, that might be beneficial. It is an absolute nightmare, as I'm sure everyone knows. So I don't know if we maybe need an additional slow sign or something like that, just as we try to get through playoffs. And also I would just make mention that, as we are going through the construction update, if there's any sort of discussion on whether or not Queen Street or Community Drive should be open to William Street, just go up to the arena any night this week and just have a look at the traffic and see what that looks like. And it might give you a new sort of vantage point.
Okay, Paul. Yes, thank you, Colin.
Through you, Chair. Absolutely. And then that's something that's already been brought up by the YMCA staff as, in our first transition, they've really noticed that the time period from 5 to 6, it can get a little scary when people are picking up their kids. Even in the vestibule, we've had to put up some tents of barriers because even parents coming through with hockey bags don't always notice the little 3-year-old walking through the lobby. And, everyone, I hope, starts to be aware of their surroundings, but the best we can do for that. I know signage, Councillor Regan has already mentioned to us, and we've got signage coming in. Better signage than what the temporary signage we have for parking and all that, more professional, more aware. We've got A-frames coming for near the street. It's a matter of timing, obviously, for everything. These things can't happen overnight, but professional looking signage coming, and I think slow signage for the laneways integral, especially considering that we have a childcare there, and there's lots of parents with their little kids coming out of there, and any of us with kids know that they just sometimes get away from you. And if someone's going too fast, that's a terrible, terrible situation to be in. So, I think that's very important to do. And we're definitely on top of that.
All right. Thank you very much, Paul. Colin, was there any follow-up to that, sir? No, I don't recall mentioning anything about proper signs. Oh, maybe I did. Sorry. Okay. Any other on, say, Abby laughing there. Anything else on construction updates? Any other questions? Ian, yes, sir. Welcome to the meeting. I think you're muted there, sir.
No, he's not muted, but I can't hear him.
Oh. Yeah, still can't hear you. Sorry, Ian. Nope, still. Is it just me or can anyone hear him? No, nobody can hear him? Okay. Sorry, Ian, we can't hear you. Can we come back?
Ian, I'm going to send you my cell phone number for you to call, and then I'll hold your phone up to the microphone. When in doubt, that's the best.
Okay. All right. Did we want to, are you doing that now?
Yep.
Okay. All right. We'll just give a second as we get Ian.
I just got a text from him. He says he's going to be texting me.
Okay. So can we do this live next time? I just want to.
Technical issues everywhere.
I just want everybody in the committee to know that I follow the rules, but I'm done and I want to have a real meeting with real people, see your real faces. I'm kind of a people guy.
Shake hands, yes.
I'm a people guy. I just want to see your face. It's like watching the intro to the Brady Bunch for like 2 years, and it's just I'm done. But that's off the record. But we're recording this. That's right too. Yeah, there we go. Oh well. And I could just see the emails. Are we good, Paul?
I haven't heard anything yet. So in the meantime, maybe we can move on and then we can double back once we get a hold of Ian.
Okay, so yeah, so I will. I'm actually going to do the next one just very briefly, if that's okay. Just step away from the chair for a moment, and as soon as we get here back from Ian, we'll double back, and I'm sure the group's okay with that. So I'm a member of the fundraising committee. Just very briefly, we've had a number of meetings over the last few months. And I just thought it would be interesting just to let you know that just so that we understand that the fundraising committee is a subgroup of PRAC, and at some point soon we'll be bringing those groups together in some way, shape, or form. And with the chair, and it's Kathy's the mayor's the chair of that committee. So at some point we'll be bringing you in with the with some more information. But the last meeting we were talking, and sort of where we are, we're talking about the different levels for donations. We had a great discussion with that. We had a guest speaker come in, a delegation come in and talk about the different levels that we could have, trying to be as inclusive as we can with respect to donations that people were making. We also had Tom McLaughlin's actually working on the recognition piece of it, just for things like the recognition on the inside wall, outside wall of the new the renovations, and just how that's all going to play out. So again, we're talking about donation levels, and there's packages that are being put together. There's a couple, if I understand, if I'm saying it wrong, Lisa, I'm sure you're listening, you can jump in. But there are packages that are going to be going out with to businesses and to sort of the corporate part, and then there's going to be another set that will be going out sort of to the public, and that's the part that we're going to have you. I think you're going to have you folks look at as well. So I think most of you may have got that other pamphlet in the mail, and there were some issues with that going out to people. But the packages that we're going to be making again to go out to the community are ones that we're going to share with you guys as well. So at some point down the road, and I think at the next PRAC meeting we might have something for the committee. Paul, is that right? Is that what we said?
I think maybe at the next PRAC meeting, if we are in person, I think if we might have just kind of an example of like the corporate package and the community stuff. Just for everyone to have a look at, see what we're going to be sending out, see the kind of professionalism we're trying to represent for this, because obviously if you're doing a money ask for fundraising, it's good to have a professional feel to it. You don't want it to just seem like a very simple thing, it really helps because you're doing a professional act here. So I think that's key, that it's a campaign. It's not just going door to door asking for money. It's a full campaign. It's important for the community. So
right. Okay, anyway, Lauren, thanks for that clarification. All right, was there any questions, I guess, on that for me or that I can take back to that committee? Is everyone all right? Okay, so we're going to move on to, and then we'll come back to Ian as soon as we can. So Paul, 7.3, the soccer field update.
Yeah, the soccer field tender is just about complete. It was to be going out at the end of the week last week, but they're just waiting for one more company for some information to come back. But all in all, it's looking very good. The idea, I think, we know we've been over it before, is to have that one premier field and then three other fields around that. And I think, we're still sitting in a good place for it to be on time with how we planned. Obviously, who knows with the way the state of the world is right now for equipment and so forth, but a lot of that's earth moving. So I don't think that we should be really affected by that. Unlike some tenders that are out right now, like there's not a lot of material to do this. It's more just kind of earthworks. So I think it should come back pretty much on what we're expecting, I'm hoping, and kind of the same kind of shape. So we'll have an update for everyone once those tenders go out and once we return them, and then kind of see where that project budget sits at. But that should be hopefully before the next PRAC meeting.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Is there any questions for Paul about the soccer fields? Everybody's okay? Okay, so we have the next one on the agenda, 7.4, summer staff progress. Abby, you are up.
Perfect. Hopefully Penny doesn't cry. Anyway, so our summer staff progress is that we have received quite a few applications for day camp, and I'm happy to announce that we have received a few applications for lifeguards. I'm going to extend that deadline again, put it back out, republish it. Indeed, we got quite a few off of there. There's not enough for a team per se, and not enough fully qualified just yet, but hopefully another round of boost through our recruiting websites, online, Facebook, the high schools, that kind of stuff. And hopefully we'll be able to pull together a nice summer staff team. Another update alongside of the staff update is that we just closed our program instructor position, and we had a couple lovely applicants, and those applicants are going to be helping us put out new programs like the Parents Night Out program, and that was pretty well full after about, I think it took 2 hours, but just had to receive the funds from the families. So I'm really happy that that program was well received, and hopefully we can add a couple more days for that program. And if the staff stick around, then we can do it at the last Friday of each month.
Thank you very much, Abby. Is there a question? Sorry, Abby, was that your report?
Yes, that's the update that I have.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Any questions, comments for Abby? Colin.
Just a brief one. I was totally ticked when I saw the announcement about Friday nights. That is such an awesome idea. And I'd like to know where the hell you were 5 years ago when my children were younger. But good for you for thinking out the box. I thought that was really, really awesome.
Thank you. I'm happy to hear the feedback.
Oh, that was good. Okay. Thank you. Any others? Okay, no, not seeing any. Okay, thank you very much, Abby. If it's okay with the group, we're going to circle back to Ian. Ian had a question. And
hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, you're good,
okay,
sir.
Thanks. I'm not sure, we have a newer computer and just won't pick up on these Zoom meetings, but my kids can use Google Meet, so I apologize. So, question for you, Paul. With the parking lot that's on the butting up to MJ's, can any of that be taken out other than maybe the handicap accessible and that kind of stuff, so that we can alleviate some of the challenges with the back and forth traffic at all? Just curious, just for the time, like for a few weeks or until hockey's done.
Do you mean like eliminate parking spots?
Yeah, and so they have to park, you know, by the lion shed or something to that effect, so that it seems to it be stalemated, because then, you know, maybe it's a drop-off zone for people or families with bags or something to that effect, and then we still have the through traffic. So because then everything gets backed up on Highway 4 on Richmond Street, and then I'm just curious that there might be some challenges with you know, possible accidents, and like you said, with kids coming across at that certain time from 4 to 6 when they're getting picked up.
The main difficulty we do have is for the YMCA. That is their main pickup drop-off spot. So we have signage there saying that those spots are only to be used for the YMCA until, I believe, 6 p.m. We could extend that. The additional spots beyond that are usually YMCA staff. We have asked them to park further away, as like our seniors programs during the day. You know, we now like to have those open to them. There's always options. I mean, it might just be a logistic thing where we need to try and find, like, you know, that time period where we need to get out there and block off those spots. Because I think the way we operate during the day compared to the way that we operate at night are two very different things. And I think that'd be the only way we could do that. So it's a bit of a logistical thing. As I like to say, anything's possible. It's just about figuring it out, right? So I agree. If we can eliminate people parking there for hockey, I think that'd be fantastic. I do know, though, it does get, like, when you have 2 games back to back, it does get very crowded. I know Main Street has been pretty full for the weekends. But I'm more than open to looking into traffic calming and any other ideas. I think what you're kind of, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but are you kind of getting at, Ian, that we should maybe see if we can make that like a 2 driving lane and then completely eliminate the parking? Or
Yeah, just kind of eliminate the parking there and just have a wider space for people to get through, because some people stop right in front of where the door is, and then it backs up traffic. So if they have an opportunity to go around those people, it'll keep the flow going. And then seems to be, unfortunately, timbers are rising because everyone just seems to be in a rush. They don't understand that this is a limited time thing, right? But everyone's for themselves in a sense. And I just don't want people to get too irate for if there's maybe a simple little tweak we can do, or that we can change to accommodate more flow. But again, I'm not, I'm just curious, that's all.
yeah, no, I'm more than happy to look into it. It could be even something as simple as a big sign that says no drop-offs. You know, keep moving, or it may come down to, you know, maybe looking into staffing that for a certain time period to, you know, make sure, you know, like they do at the schools. You know, I don't remember, it's been a long time, but in high school they say no drop-offs, keep moving, this is the bus area, kind of same concept, right? So maybe it's something to look into. And definitely I need to look into traffic calming measures for sure, because it does turn into a bit of a bottleneck there.
Yep.
Is there any option for an exit on the south side? Like, is there any room to move that fence at all, let people loop around the building? Like, it's the two-way traffic that seems to be the problem.
Unfortunately, until the weather gets warmer, not really. Because right in there, it becomes an active construction zone. They have dumpsters. They've got the steel off the building already.
Yeah.
I mean, once it gets warmer, there's potential to, well, even then it's difficult. I was gonna say we could utilize the track, bring people around to Queen Street, Community Drive, but there's not really that. And like we used to have a kind of a throughway on the far side of the Lions building, but that's been gone. I think it's been at least over 6 years now. So I unfortunately, no.
And I was just going to say, like, I mean, you go to the brand new arena in Kamoka, and I feel like you have to walk quite a hike to get into that building to where you need to go. It's no further than walking from the other side of the arena. We likely just need to get used to this for, 2 to 3 weeks of playoff hockey, and then it won't be an issue again until September. So I think, just big signs and letting people know, hey, hang in there. This won't be very long. And that's likely sufficient, but it's nice to know that you've been exploring the options.
Absolutely. And I think too, like, as you said, we just have to get through this small period of time that's unfortunately one of the busiest. And even as Ian had said, tempers are flying high, especially in playoffs. So yeah, and unfortunately, one of the things that it's not good for minor hockey. Some people are kind of not happy with how playoffs are this year, but having people go away for the finals might actually work out in their favor. It's not as long. There's not as many games. But yeah, we're definitely working on it, and communication's key, and signage is key. But I know from experience, we always push in every business. You always push signage, but signage, you can't make people read a sign, unfortunately, and it's for some people it's just very difficult to see signs no matter how big you make them. So it may come down to simply security or staffing, some sort of parking lot control maybe. Not ideal because that costs money. So but if maybe it's a volunteer position, but it is something to look at if signage doesn't work.
Todd, yes, sir.
Just along the same lines of this conversation, Mr. Chairman, I saw on a Facebook page that there's going to be a St. Patty's Day run, something that we haven't seen in about 3 years. And I understand that's going to be taking place at the community center, which obviously means that we're looking at, well, if previous years, it's so long ago, I can't remember, but I seem to recall there were a lot of people that would show up for those runs, a lot more than would show up for a hockey game. So just to put out a word of concern about that upcoming event and how this topic may impact that.
My hopes for that event with my conversations with the Lions member that I've been speaking with is that they're going to gather on the active living center, the Lions active living center side of the facility, because we'd have those big double doors to the gym. And the hopes is that hockey, generally people don't want to walk, so they're not going to be trying to park on that side. So I'm hoping that those two events will almost separate themselves, because they don't need to come in through the YMCA entrance to gain access to that. It is the hopes.
So, okay, thank you. Is that good, Todd? Do you have a follow-up to that?
Nope, just a concern I wanted to point out. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Actually, Paul, if I could, you mentioned that you're going to look into options with that, with what Ian brought up. I'm just wondering if we come up with something or whatever your findings are, could you email the members of PRAC? And the reason I'm asking, I don't direct staff, by the way, but I was wondering if you would do that, just because these are the people that are going to get asked the questions, because the community knows they're on PRAC. So maybe if we just give them some information, because it seems like it's a safety issue. So obviously I haven't been approached by it yet, but I know some of these members may be. So if we can just get back to maybe there's some answers, or the fact that we're looking at it, or these are some of the options, if you don't mind.
No, absolutely. And that's one of the key importances of a committee like this, is that you are community members, you use their facility, you represent the people using their facility, so you can also help spread that message. So I think that's very important. And then as soon as I have plans beyond what we already have set up, I will absolutely email the committee.
Thank you, Paul. All right. Is there anyone else that has any other comments for Paul on that issue? We just did a little retro there, and we're just going to move forward. Okay. I don't see any. We're going to open it up to number 8, roundtable discussion from any member of the committee. And I don't know if I'm going to see any. No, I'm looking at. Okay. So we're going to talk about the next meeting, if I can move on. And Paul, what were we thinking at this point?
Originally, we were thinking of maybe moving back to the, every 2 months. But with a lot going on, I'm not sure for the moment. Maybe we propose the first Wednesday in April. But if we get closer to that time, and then I think that there isn't much of an update, we could, I can reach out to the committee and propose postponing it. But with construction going on, so many things changing, it might be valuable to have that. I know we are working on trying to have a groundbreaking kind of ceremony with the community center and the fundraising kind of kickoff. And we do have to time that accordingly with provincial elections, because we should given that we were so fortunate in getting that 5.5 million from the federal and provincial government, we should invite representatives to be part of that that ceremony, and we have to be cognizant of the provincial election. So that should be happening soon, and I think the committee members should all be present for that as well if they can attend.
Thank you, Paul. So I'm just going to suggest that we tentatively we set a date for Wednesday, April 6th at 6 o'clock. At this point, I don't know if Paul wants to send out I don't know what you call it, the doodle. I don't know. What is it? The thing that people just, for times and dates. But I think maybe we should, I think 2 months might be too much with what's going on. But if we don't have enough information, then of course we'll postpone till later. So that, go ahead. No, go ahead, Paul.
Sorry, through you, Chair. It's also appropriate too that if it comes up that that groundbreaking ceremony needs to happen sooner than that, we will reach out to committee members for their input and also for their RSVP for attending.
All right. Thank you, Paul. Okay. Was there anything else from the committee at all? All right. So then I'm going to say that the motion that Ian, yes.
Sorry, I might have missed it just with the mix up with my computers. Question for Abby. So you said that there was open applications for the pool, or no? Am I misinformed?
They actually just closed, but I'm going to be reopening the application process for the lifeguards.
Okay, because I didn't see where they were. I've just been looking at the wrong spot, I guess. Anyhow, I know that my daughter is taking her lifeguard stuff, and a couple of friends are as well, so they're very interested.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'll reopen that, and actually I'll send you the link directly.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Great, thank you for that, Ian. Thank you very much. Thanks, Abby. All right, would there be anything else? I just want to make sure I don't leave anybody out. All right, so I'm just going to ask for a motion that we adjourn the meeting at 6:36. Todd, and need a seconder. Mr. Haskett, all opposed, carried. Thank you.